Destination mark.
Hey guys, how's it going? Marcelo here. Happy 5th of July, despite the intro, I'm a day late. So, Crash and Sane Trilogy. Obviously it's out already. Link down below immediately to my, the first part of my stream, my 4-part stream. I already beat all 3 games. I'm working on 100% right now. I did Crash 1 and 2 already, so I'm working on 3. They've been a lot of fun. Everything positive is obviously super true. They've been recreated faithfully. They look good. They sound good. I have a few little things with some music tracks in some of those games, but for the most part, I mean, it looks good. It sounds good, and they did a really good job. So that's the awesome part, and that's of course the main positive stuff I want to highlight, which I've already been saying since we've been hearing the bits of the music and seeing more trailers here and there. They're doing a custom Crash thing, so I did a little thing for that, and you can too if you get their green screen video for Crash. So they're doing a lot of cool marketing stuff. The commercials, oh god damn, the commercials are fucking hilarious, and they're just a nice throwback. So there's a plane going overhead. I have my window open because it's hot as hell in here, so that's awesome. Ignoring that, I want to bring up one thing, which I actually won't do until later, now that I think about it. Hopefully I can remember though. So, the games feel good. Let's talk about the games. Now that they're out, now that Sane Trilogy is out, let's talk about Crash 1, 2, and 3. They feel good to control. The physics still take some getting used to. 2 particular levels in Crash 1, for instance, I had trouble with that I did not think would kick my ass as much as they did, were the bridge levels. There go the jit. Road to Nowhere and the High Road, which a lot of people have been having trouble with. So, where to begin with this? So, because the physics do take some getting used to, people have been trying to find ways to complain about that stuff, for whatever reason. It used to be, the palettes, the colors, the shading, the lighting. Now it's, the jumping, the physics, the fucking accurate shit. I don't fucking know. Noticeably, inevitably, there are some things that need to be tweaked. People have been finding glitches and stuff, not game-breaking glitches, although I did find, I unintentionally ended up having a soft lock glitch happen to me where I both died and beat Temple Ruins at the exact same time, so it's soft locked. I couldn't continue my progress, so that was really funny. But of course now stuff like that does need to be fixed. Besides that, when they start talking about the ice physics, which yes are different, it's the littlest tweaks. Now I'm not saying they won't make the biggest difference if they, I'm not saying it just to satisfy those complainers. They would help a lot. They obviously would help a lot if certain little things like landing a jump onto ice and then trying to go forward, sometimes there's a pause that you don't account for, so you end up fucking up the jump somehow if you want to slide jump or something like that. It's little, that's just one instance. There's little tiny physicsy details like that that in hindsight could very much do with a patch or so to fix that. But in hindsight, you know, for what they're worth, those are little complaints, so you shouldn't really have your full experience dampened by something like that. Remember, we've got 3 games here. If you find that one glitch in one game and then you just are like, okay, well this taints my whole experience, you're not giving them enough credit. Because, you know, I for one, I'm a vet, and this game kicked my ass with the way the physics are and everything, and I'm still 100%ing all 3 games. So it's something that you just got to have patience with. These games are in fact all about patience, remember, and you just gotta keep working at it. That's really what these games are about. And then you got people, I don't read reviews, I myself am just a little internet critic, but I only review and judge based off what I've experienced or what I'm seeing or whatever, but some people take it out into really weird proportions and just, these games are so hard, they're like on Dark Souls levels of being too hard. There's a bird outside my window there. He's panting. There's a bird panting, I'm sorry. ADD. That was just really funny. Dark Souls levels of hard? Have you played Crash Bandicoot before? Have you played the originals before? Because all these additions and these neat little things that they've been putting in, the Vicarious Visions have been putting in, they're there to help make these games more accessible to people who either don't know and don't want to experience, or do know and don't want to experience anymore, that level of difficulty that those games had. Now, I, for one, actually liked those challenges from the original trilogy because I got used to them, and for me, being me who grew up playing those games, I didn't get used to them like that, of course, because I was a toddler, but getting used to how those games were and learning all the secrets and stuff, because remember, we did not have fucking websites, or at least not as many as we do now, that had direct access to, you know, we had cheat books, cheat code books and shit like that. No walkthroughs, no fucking nothing like that. And I was too young to even read that shit anyway, so learning from my parents and grandparents, like, I was able to adapt. And that is, in hindsight, something we've lost in games nowadays, especially with kids, where we need to be, our hands apparently need to be held at every fucking corner of the way, especially in Nintendo games and stuff, but Crash was never really one to do that, and this isn't so much as that. For me personally, I kind of would have, like, for one instance, wished that they had an option to turn the hints on and off, so that way they don't distract me or whatever, I guess. But I mean, it's fine that they're there, because that way people can, like, actually be like, oh, there's a, like, if they go through a level and they break all the boxes and they're like, I swear I broke all the boxes, but it's saying I missed a punch. Like, for us back then, with no indication that there was, like, something else we had to do, it's like, okay, what's going on here? For people now in Sane Trilogy, it's like, okay, well, shit, the hint clearly said, go down this path to get more whatever, right? So, I mean, I'm trying to just look right now at both sides of the coin as to, like, for this specific example, why, like, something like hints would even be, you know, should be an inclusion in this game. But I don't know. Point being, they're there, these additions are there to make the games a little, not so much as easier, because these games still are quite tough, especially Crash 1, but they are there to be more accessible, essentially, to newcomers. So to say that these games are as hard as Dark Souls is fucking mind-boggling, and I have no idea what the fuck they were smoking when they said that shit, but I think it's hilarious. So, yeah, don't listen to people like that. Just go at your own leisure if you're a newcomer to Sane Trilogy. You'll get the hang of it. Just keep practicing. Practice makes perfect, and just keep going at it. And the one thing, though, now I want to link an article down below to some specific people who found this, and I forgot how it all went down, but apparently from what I heard, I'm just going to paraphrase whatever was in the article, people have went into the files and found that Crash and Coco's feet have like a pill-shaped, more oval than rectangular-shaped hitbox, so that could possibly explain why when you've sworn you've landed a jump right at the ledge of a platform in this trilogy and you still slide off and it's not a slippery platform, that could be the reason. So there are some little things that they did when they were building this to where maybe it helps for the slippery slopes that you actually do go down on, but when you're trying to make regular ass jumps and land jumps on regular ass platforms, you can still slip off. So that might, I'm just trying to provide some clarity as to why this kind of stuff might be happening, because people are blaming the physics for why they keep fucking up. And there are some things that do need to be tweaked inevitably, that's all I'm trying to say. Just don't complain about it full-heartedly and have your experience tainted because you're like, okay, I didn't make that jump, yeah, fuck this game, it's way too hard. Like, really? So people are doing that, I don't fucking know. So-called people who are like, I remember the classics, they're my favorite games of all time, and then you play this and you're like, fuck, well I didn't make these jumps, they're not like the originals at all. Fuck this game, 2 out of 10. Like, it's not that extreme, I guess. Maybe there are reviews that are that extreme, or people thinking extreme shit like that, but I don't know. I find it hilarious and ridiculous in all, you know, seriousness. But, yeah, but that, it's dumb. So that's really it for the games. I mean, the games feel good, they are awesome, they are just as faithful to the originals as you can possibly get. But, you know, of course, there's some little things that need tweaking, but just those who are complaining about it, stop. Just please fucking stop. We waited so long for this, and we wanted this, and now you're gonna complain about it? Like, there's a difference between pointing shit out and complaining about it, and I hate the people that complain about it, because your voice will not get heard. And even if it does, they ain't gonna like you for it. Trust me, I actually have some hands-on experience with someone who said, yeah, who was on the team who said, yeah, I watch people's videos to hear their input, but there are certain people that just don't have the right way of wording their input, and it comes off as either complaining or being incredibly facetious about shit to the point where you come off as not a good person. They're not going to want to hear your opinions if you complain. That's all I'm going to say about it, but we don't want to hear you complain, so stop complaining. And for those who watch people who complain, don't listen to their, just don't listen to their complaining. I don't know. If you're completely content with the game, but you keep hearing these people who complain, just don't start shit with them like, oh, you're fucking wrong, because then you're gonna start a whole flame war in the comments of those people's videos and whatever else. Have a good dang jolly good old time with the game. That's all I'm trying to get at, and just keep all the crap out for people that are complaining. But with that being said, give Vicarious Visions a break because I don't know what the fuck they're gonna be working on after this. CTR remastered, fucking Spyro Trilogy. I don't know. I don't want to know right now. I'm done trying to speculate about what they're gonna do next. Reboot for Crash. I don't fucking know. Just give them a break because they're gonna be trying to patch up this game, give the little DLC stuff to us, for this game. Now here's where I'm gonna bring back. I remembered that thing I was gonna say, that I was gonna mention. So, if you've seen, and I was actually there for it, if you saw the Crash reunion panel at E3 for E3 Coliseum, when asked by, oh god, what's his last name? Jeff Keighley? Jeff, that guy, you know who he is. When asked, do you see a viable future in Crash from whoever else carries the series from here on out, if it's still VV or for someone else, do you see a viable future for Crash? We were all kind of hoping they would say, sure, I mean, if you do it right. Now, that's kind of what they said, but Jason mainly said, I don't know, because is this just nostalgia-driven and then we're done? Because what else can you do from here on out? Or can you be smart enough to where you can come up with a good concept, see it through, but make sure it really stands out as something that can actually carry the franchise from here onward? Because the direction the Crash franchise is taking right now is more nostalgia driven and retro driven. We've got a modern game that is essentially simulating the first games in the franchise from the 90s. So we're bringing back the old commercials, doing it all like that. Like, it's very retro based right now. So we're not making references to Titans and Twin Sanity, Eartha Cortex, and Nitro Kart, and which was also VV and all that stuff. It's very much old school, blast from the past, Naughty Dog. We're kind of, but in their own way. So this is the kind of direction that we're going with here. Now, where can they go from here with like any kind of a fucking reboot or whatever else? I have no fucking clue, because if you take the main line of games, which are essentially about 7, you've got Crash 1, 2, 3, Wrath of Cortex, Twin Sanity, Titans Mind Over Mutant. Those are the main line of platforming games. Everything else, those are all spin-offs. Even Insane Trilogy is, in its own right, a spin-off in a way. Will there be some kind of a sequel-ish game that doesn't exactly have anything to do with Titans Mind Over Mutant, but kind of takes place after? Like, can they do a game like that? Are they going to do a reboot and just completely do their own timeline of Crash games and do their own completely original shit? I don't know. Are they going to do fucking CTR remaster because no one will shut the fuck up about it? I don't know. So, as much as it would be cool to see that, to see a CTR remastered, because part of me does want that, because I want to see a new Crash Racing game. But I want to see a Crash Racing game, but if this one, just like the Naughty Dog games, the platforming games, this one really hit a lot of people back then, and they were like, this is my favorite racing game. So, either that, do a whole completely different original racing game, that could be a cool little option. The way CTR 2010 was going to look, like, it bared the name CTR, but it looked nothing like it. It looked really cool, actually. But it mainly followed the Crash Landed formula and look and all that, and both those got canned. Point being, I'm going off on a tangent. I don't know what they're going to do next, so let's just not try and tell them what to do next. Do CTR, do fucking Spyro, do a reboot, bring back Crash Landed. Like, let them breathe. First off, you just yelled at them and complained to them about the shit that looks wrong with Sane Trilogy. Fuck what the physics are like, the colors are shit, this doesn't look faithful. Now you're like, give us CTR, but if you do, oh, you're gonna get the speed is all wrong, the fucking boosting is, like, that's all that's gonna end up happening at this point. At this point in time, if they come out and tease a fucking picture on Twitter of crashing a cart and say, be prepared, start your engines, and then people are gonna go fucking crazy, and then they show off like a gameplay demo at PSX and you're like, oh, this looks like garbage. Why are you asking for it then? At least give them the benefit of the doubt that they're fucking listening to us, and they are trying to connect with us on a more personal level. I know this from first fucking hand experience, that they're trying to connect with us on a personal level, and my voice is raising in pitch because I'm getting, or in volume because I'm getting so passionate about it, but seriously, just fucking, I don't mean to come off, you know, rude or anything, but back off for a minute, let them breathe. They just finished a huge undertaking, because this game's mean a lot to so many people, myself included, and they need to breathe. I don't know what they're gonna fucking do right now or next or whatever, but there is a huge choice for them up ahead. What direction are they going to take? Another nostalgia-driven remaster? We heard news about some of the developers from Twinsanity wanted to like bring that game back, but put in all the cut content. And if you do that, on the one hand, I got kind of excited when I heard that initially, but then I was like, we can't keep going down this road. If we're gonna go down this road of, now it's this game remastered, now it's this game remastered. Does this sound familiar first off? Because Jeremiah Isaiah has been talking about this topic quite a lot recently. A video on which I was a part of, so I guess link down below to that as well. If we keep going down this road, it's not going to be pretty. It's going to be a big-ass repeat of history, and it could have a lot more fucking disastrous results in this day and age with the way we are with games. We were never like this, so with the whole complaining and then other real-worldy subject matter stuffs in games, we weren't like that like 10, 15 years ago. So with the way games and stuff like that are now, and with the whole nostalgia trip and stuff like that that's going on now, it's just not gonna be pretty. But that doesn't mean that we can't get at least one more, because I'm still hoping. But it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be fucking tough. Yeah, that's pretty much where I thought we'd be. I don't know where they're gonna go from here, and honestly, I'm not gonna try and put any more stamps on where they can go. They've got their options laid out. Do a reboot, do some kind of a sequel, not to Mind Over Mutant in terms of another Mutants game, but just something that probably takes inspiration from it, takes place after it. They could possibly do something like that. Do CTR remastered, or God knows what else. So I mean, that's really it. That's really, unless they pull something completely fucking random out that is actually really cool and just blow all our minds with some new ass direction they want to take. Which, whatever that is, I don't know, but for the moment, they're done with Sane Trilogy as it is. There's still some stuff they can do, and they are going to do, so we'll just see what all that is in due time. So, Crash Sane Trilogy, what do you guys think about it? I think it's fucking cool. Just to recap everything, you know what, I'm going to put, okay, this whole video has been essentially rendered pointless because of what I'm about to do, but at the beginning of the video, as you have seen, if you've stayed this long, thank you. If you followed what happened at the beginning of the video, there is a timestamp to right here, this very moment. Ahem. Crash Sane Trilogy is really awesome. It's really fun. Vets and newcomers alike can definitely get into it. There are some technical stuff that they can still tweak and change and fix and do and patch and all that stuff. The complainers who just keep on complaining about, first, before the games came out, it was, oh, the lighting, the fucking whatever else, the shading, the colors, the palette. Now it's, oh, the physics, the jumping, the accurate landing, the controls. Just don't listen to them, don't pay attention. These developers, I swear to God, really are watching these kinds of videos and listening to those kinds of complaints and those opinions and whatnot, and they're taking everything into consideration. So they are looking at the good stuff and the bad stuff, but it's all about the way you present, the way you're and the way you word your opinions on what should be changed and how you think it should be changed. Don't say it like, oh, this crap is, this stuff sucks and it's shit, because they're not gonna like that, obviously. If you just make it more well thought out and more open-minded about how you're going to go about wording your goddamn complaints, and make them less of complaints and more suggestions, stuff like that. They will take it into consideration. That's even if they, watch videos like this at all or whatever, and then they read the comments and stuff. Like, there are ways they will eventually hear stuff like that, maybe even hear your, suggestions or complaints or whatever, but really just try not to make them complaints. Just be more careful and nice and open-minded with your wording on what should be changed and the way you believe it should be changed and all that stuff. Where could they go from here on out? I don't really know. They've got some options ahead of them. So that right there was the whole TLDR of the video. So you don't have to watch the whole me trying to trip over my words and shit and getting distracted by a bird out the window. So what do you guys think of Crash and Sane Trilogy? I thought it was awesome, of course, so let me know what you guys thought down below. I got a bunch of links you can see down there. I'm Marcelo. We'll see you guys later. Happy 5th of July. Take care.